All right, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition. Morning Scone presented by
1, 2, and 3.
Morning Scone presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Oh boy, I don't know if y'all saw, but there is a storm in the Atlantic. The cone of uncertainty has it coming into the Gulf. It is about that time of year, unfortunately. Anyway, let's hope it doesn't disrupt anyone's lives or anything of the sort, but we'll keep an eye on it. All right, let's say some good morning, see what y'all got. LSU is back in full pads. Not in full pads, they're on shoulder pads on Sunday. LSU is in shoulder pads on Sunday at practice. Third consecutive day of drills. They'll be back on the practice field today. The Saints had the day off Sunday. They are back on the practice field this morning. Not sure if you saw, but Michael Thomas tweeted. And it's the kind of thing that has gotten players run out of New Orleans in the past. He tweeted 2 hours ago a picture of a note that he made on his phone, and it says, "They tried to damage your reputation. You saved theirs by not telling your side of the story." The thing I'll tell you all this much I know. People within the Saints organization, they like Michael Thomas. I think he's obviously a great young player. He's a good person, and he wants to play football and wants to be great. Otherwise they wouldn't have given him $100 million, right? The thing that but the thing that we also know about Sean Payton is values culture. I mean, Brandon Cooks was a first-round pick and their leading wide receiver, and as soon as he popped off with his, closed mouths don't get fed comment, boom, they shipped him out of here. It would be devastating to think that you drafted this talent in round 2. He develops into one of the best receivers in the game. And if you only had him for such a short amount of time, because of what has transpired off the field. But Sean Payton values culture. We've seen it. I mean, they gave Junior Gillette a great contract, cut him. Brandon Cooks was a first-round pick, traded him. Even the guy like Kenny Stills, who they took in round 5, who became a really good receiver, but was a bad locker room guy, shipped him out of town. I mean, we've seen them do it with high-profile guys before. Now, when you look at Michael Thomas's contract, the potential out is in 2020, is after this year. But if they do take the out, they would carry $22.7 million in dead cap money. for a team that's already strapped against the cap to eat $22 million to not have Mike Thomas on your team would be borderline absurd. So you got to work it out. All right, let's say some good mornings here. Kelly Gross, good morning. Tim Gotro, Joey Vincent, Trivia Carter, good morning. Jason Truax, good morning. Strong Side Sports and Collectibles, good morning. Nicholas Cantrell from DFW, good morning. Pat Huseman, Glenn Laurie. Morning, Matt. Sorry, I've been watching lately. I lost my mom for a minute. I'm very sorry to hear that, Glenn. Golly. No worries about not being here, man. It's just show up when you can. But condolences to you and to your family, man. Condolences. Hope y'all have a great celebration of life planned soon. Dylan Landry, good morning. AJ Holland, good morning. Kelly Presley, good morning. Jeremy Wheeler, morning, Matt. Excited about the upcoming LSU football season. We should be pretty stout. Yeah, man. Out there practicing. Excited to see fall camp continue to roll along. Really cool. Alan Faneca inducted to the Hall of Fame last night. As well, so another really cool moment for LSU football. To see another inductee to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But yeah, I think look, LSU's going to be drastically improved from what they were a year ago, especially defensively. As we've talked about, they just have to be. You can't be better. You can't be worse than the worst all time. So they have to be better. How much better? We'll find out. And we'll see. Casey Landrum, good morning. Brandon English, good morning. Craig Duga, good morning. Lenny Moss, good morning. Hope everyone has a great week. Same to you, Lenny. Hope all's well, man. Lowell Cormier, good to see you back here. Lowell, good morning. Charlie Cavell. Manny Trancoso, good morning. Charlie, she sells seashells. Hey, man, look, some mornings are harder than others. Some mornings you get on here and you just, all things are firing, you're ready to roll. Other mornings you got to have your sip of coffee. I mean, y'all, literally, most days the first words that I speak are to you all. You know what I mean? Like, because if Erica's out of the house to go to school, I wake up, Drew's still sleeping. I mean, I take my vitamins and my Metamucil, take my shower, I get dressed, pour my coffee, and then I come sit here. So the first words I speak are to y'all. So, and some days, bro, it's firing. Some days it ain't. Casey Legend, what do you think Thomas's draft capital is now? You better get at least a 1 for him if you're going to trade him. Remember when you traded Brandon Cooks, you traded Cooks and a mid-round for a 1. Now it was the 32nd pick, and you turned that into Ryan Ramchick, but it was a 1 nonetheless. And that was for Brandon Cooks. This is Michael Thomas. The other part of it too, though, is I would assume, well, actually, if you take the out of the contract, then whoever you trade to would sign him to a new deal, but they'd have to trade him and pay him. Dale Broussard, crypto's getting fun again. Hey Dale, you just had to be patient, man. If shout out to BitBoy Crypto, he called this all along. Once, I mean, the correction was pretty clearly manipulation, and his thing was, look, by the middle of July, you'll start to see it run again, and you start to see the prices go up the last week of July, and with the London hard fork launching on Friday, Ethereum certainly has been galloping, and everything's pumping, man. It's just the question is how high. I think in the next 2 weeks, we should get over 50K on Bitcoin, and once it gets over 50, it should be blast off, and you should have a really fun 6 to 8 weeks watching it moon, and then cash out, bro. Brennan Kluka, good morning. Watch my 2-week-old baby girl. How about it, Brennan? Good morning, man. That's awesome. Oh, look at your profile picture. She's adorable, man. Congratulations. Old Brennan. Life goes on, huh, man? Shoot, known that dude a long time. Lawrence Burley, good morning. Daryl Norman, good morning. Charlie preaching to the choir. Craig, we are so close, and I'm getting anxious. It's going to be a fun season. We're loaded. Elite 8 this year, boot up. And Greg, he's so stupid. I hope they do better than Elite 8, man. I'd love to see this be a Final Four team. Charlie Gale, good morning. Mark Allen, Saints will not eat 20 plus million. You know, Mark, maybe, but the thing I'll remind you also is, number one, you do have a decision to make on Marcus Williams, and I think they're going to give him a long-term deal. You also have a decision to make on Marshawn Lattimore, if you're going to pay him a giant contract. And then you got, look, Teron Armstead obviously is coming due. But the other thing to keep in mind, hang on, I want to find it because I don't want to misspeak. Okay. All right, the Saints presently have an estimated $9.9 million in cap space, so they still have money to spend in case if they do want to bring someone in, which they will. With $9 million to spend, they will. Let's see how Drew's back up. Oh no. You know it's not, but it will be in a second. I'm talking. Just rolled over this cable. Sorry, y'all. I was trying to see Breeze's dead money. Okay, so Breeze. Okay, never mind. They just, when they restructured it in his retirement, they did not have a cap hit for Drew Brees this year, but they did pay him $11 million. Okay, never mind. I just want to make sure because I was like, look, if they're going to eat Drew Brees' cap hit, they would for anybody. But anyway. So Mark, I mean, that's a legitimate question. Would they be willing to do it? And I'll remind you, Carson Wentz, I mean, the Eagles ate 40. The Eagles ate $33.8 million. I mean, it's the highest ever. So sometimes teams will, to move out of a bad contract, move on from a player, just get their organization moving in a different direction. We'll see. It depends what you can get for it, though, right? I mean, if you can get a first-round draft pick and you feel like you could bring in a starting caliber player on a rookie deal, it offsets that dead money, right? Theoretically. Jesse Brown, morning, Matt. Did you see a former Green Bay player says Rodgers will be a New Orleans Saint in 2022? I did not. Please send me a link. I would love to fan those flames. Manny, good morning. Thumbs up. Yeah, thank you, Manny. By the way, 36 watching on YouTube, only 13 likes. Please smash that like button if you haven't done so yet. I don't know if you're on Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post. Appreciate y'all very much. Janet, I saw a coffee mug that reminded me of you. It said, there, and there. Get it right or we can't be friends. It's very good, Janet. Well, I'll say this. It's not that we can't be friends. It's that if you can't get it right, I just can't respect you fully. Maybe that's a little harsh. But yes, that's apropos. PTG Toasty, good morning. Nicholas Cantrell, any word on your post-game show for football? Yeah, man, we're going to do Whiskey and Wine. It's going to be me and Rohan from Don Juan again. So Don Juan had a conversation with them last week. They confirmed they're in. Rowe is in. So me, Rowe from Don Juan post game. Now, do we call it whiskey and wine? I don't know. I mean, I guess. That's almost like Dick Clark's rocking New Year's Eve with Ryan Seacrest. Still Dick Clark's rocking New Year's Eve, even though Dick Clark ain't done that. Well, we all know Dick Clark is passed. But anyway, maybe it's like that. I don't know. Nicholas Cantrell said that Tim Gotro, I've been seeing good things about Marquez Callaway, Adam Troutman, and Lil Jordan Humphrey in training camp reports. Look, I mean, Tim, somebody has to catch the ball, right? I mean, somebody has to catch the ball. Michael Thomas isn't there. Emmanuel Sanders, obviously you cut him. I mean, somebody's got to catch the ball. So somebody's going to have their name called. Now, I'm going to, Marquez Callaway was the guy that I told y'all last year that I was high on. Watched him at Tennessee. He's a burner, game-breaking ability. I was not surprised at all when he made the team. I predicted he would. And I hope he has a big step forward this year. It would not surprise me if he does. So that would be great if he could, because they need somebody to do that. Without Mike Thomas, Deontay Harris is going to be out a couple of weeks, likely for a suspension. Somebody's got to catch the ball, aside from Alvin Kamara. So, but I do believe Troutman's going to take, out of necessity, he's going to take that big step forward too. Eric Wilderotter, awesome news with Mike Jones. Any idea on start time day of the week? So we are going to, so for those curious about Eric, with all the NIL stuff, I reached out to Mike Jones, the Clemson transfer linebacker, and he agreed to come on the show weekly during the season. So, sorry, I'm listening for Drew's backpack. So not sure what day yet. It's kind of going to depend on when they get into class and he figures out his schedule. But they will be on the practice field whenever I'm on air. So we are going to have to record that earlier in the day, so it gives us some flexibility. I'm thinking I think I want to do it on Thursday, either Tuesday or Thursday. So we'll see, but probably Tuesday or Thursday. Brandon Goche, Will Blackman said it about Rodgers. Okay, send me a link if you have it. The Scone and Row show. Whiskey and Row. Whiskey and Row maybe isn't bad. Whiskey and Row could work. Where are we? Charlie Gale, Jason Aguilar, good morning. Hey, Dad, good morning. Casey Landrum, I say Trey Thomas, we're going to stink this year anyway. Get picks, retool on offense. So, okay, I mean, I think you obviously entertain that conversation. If, listen, let me be clear. If it's me, I'm not entertaining the conversation. I'm not trading Michael Thomas. I just know Sean Payton values locker room culture, and no player has been untouchable. So nothing would surprise me at this point. That's one. But I would not want to trade Michael Thomas. If you are going to trade Michael Thomas, what you get for him is certainly paramount, because you're saying get picks and retool on offense. You're not guaranteed to hit on draft picks. Remember that. Like, you're trading a proven star player for picks that are accompanied with uncertainty. And you don't need to retool on offense because you have a great offensive line in place. You have an all-pro wide receiver and one of the best backs in football. Like, you don't need to retool on offense as you stand present. So where you need to retool is defensively, because you basically gutted your defense this year. So it's easy to say just trade him away and retool, but there's a lot of logistics that don't really work out like that. They make that far more of a challenge. Charlie, haven't heard a whole lot on the LSU defense this offseason. Are they moving back to 3-4, staying 4-3? They are staying 4-3. As long as Ed Ogeron is the coach, they'll be 4-3. They were 3-4 because he inherited Dave Aranda and wasn't going to get rid of Dave, but that's not the defense Ed wanted to run. So they're 4-3. and more likely you'll see them run 4-2-5. So, you know, 5 defensive backs with Cordell Flott as the nickel. That's what they did last year. So, yeah, I mean, I think we've talked a lot about the defense this year, this offseason, because they were so bad last year. It's been a big talking point this offseason. I think, you know, defensive line, you got a guy like Andre Anthony back for a 6-year. Ali Gay, who many thought was going to be a shoot, man. He may opt out after that first game against Mississippi State, but he had a very up and down year. But, you know, Ali Gay and Andre Anthony are there's your ends. You've got Glenn Logan, Neil Farrell, a couple of veteran guys on the interior. You got depth on your defensive line, no question. And I'll be very interested to see what happens at linebacker. You know, you got Mike Jones coming in. You've got Baskerville and Damone Clark, along with Bug Strong, the number one JUCO linebacker coming in. So I think you feel good about that group there. That you're going to be able to find starting caliber players among that group. But they got some young guys, you know, Webb and Sampa and those guys. Cornerback, you've got a great tandem with Ricks and Stingley. And then safety's a giant question, right? I mean, you feel like you added players there that could help if it's bringing in Major Burns or Sage Ryan. I mean, you've added bodies, really talented guys. Can you make it work? That's kind of the big question. Linebacker and safety are my 2 big questions because those spots were just bad last year. And you took a shot at fixing it with some of your personnel, but can they perform? You know, we'll find out whenever they hit the field. Craig, I have a confession. I didn't dump Doge after it bottomed out. Thought about it a few times, but didn't. Now it's gaining traction again. So if I can hodl for a bit longer, I'll make a decent return. Kicking myself for not investing in something while everything was down. This looks like a fun ride with major returns for more credible crypto. So dollar cost averaging is the way to go, Craig. I mean, it's the way to guarantee yourself low entry points and high returns. So Travis Webb, WWL posted the story about Rodgers. Okay, cool. I will check it out. Daryl Norman, Matt, the season starts next month. Do you think it'll be like last year's games? I'm assuming you're asking about like attendance. No, I think it will be 100% capacity. I know the recent COVID spike has everybody asking that question, and understandably so. But I also know that governmental leaders do not want at all to go back to any kind of lockdown. Just economically, I don't think our state, our country can handle it again. And that's why they're imploring people, wear your mask, get your vaccine, all that stuff. And then the other thing too is, you know, I think, there's your backpack. Drew's toy all over the place. He does this like it's a fidget thing. Why else does kids play all those fidgets? Drew's got a million of those things. But anyway, so long story short with that, they don't want to shut down. It's going to be full capacity. Mark, if lockdown happens due to Delta variant, will LSU fans be allowed to tailgate around UCLA game in California? So, Mark, I can tell you the conversations that I've had with people in California is like I have friends that live in LA. I have a doctor friend that lives in LA. it's a completely different reality there than here. They're not seeing the surge we're seeing here because they, by and large, are all vaccinated and taking precautions. We're not. Like, the South has been, I mean, it's Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, like, that aren't getting vaccinated, and we're seeing spikes. So California is going to be fine. I mean, every like we're hearing so much about it here because it's bad here, but that's not the case everywhere. So as odd as it sounds, I think California's going to be fine. Let's see. You should call it whiskey and strawberry margarita. Call it Roan and Scone. Roan and Scone from Don Juan. Well, no one calls him Roan, so I can't go Roan. I do like the. I do like that it rhymes, but let's see. Thought it was a margarita. Might have been a daiquiri. I can't remember if it was a daiquiri or margarita. I have that picture still though. Paul Batts, good morning from Houston. Huddle, hold on for dear life. Diamond Hands, bro. Mark, Max Johnson looks ready. Dude, forgive me. Like, I'm not trying to be cynical, but they've had 3 practices against air. Like, you can't possibly say from 10 minutes of, or 10 seconds of video clips of him throwing against air that he looks ready. He just, I mean, I think Max is going to be fine. I mean, he showed it last year when the lights are on. He's ready for the moment. I really think he's going to be fine. But we can't say that based on 3 days of practice against air. We just can't. Saints have no wide receivers. I mean, no, they got wide receivers. I don't know if any of them can play at the NFL level. But they got guys in the roster that are wide receivers. Stay safe, Louisiana peeps. I saw the report this morning. Good Morning America from Children's Hospital in New Orleans. I did not see Good Morning America from Children's New Orleans, but the big difference with this variant, obviously, is that it is affecting kids, which didn't happen a year ago, and that's what has us, like Erica and I, most concerned about Drew. It's literally at the point where we're having conversations with his medical team, and there's a possibility, like, if we don't see things improve, where he may not end up going to school and stuff. So we already got to have him avoid crowds. Like, we're not taking him to crowds or anything. So, yeah, man, it's scary for a kiddo like that. All right, where are we? Back over to YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Please smash that like button if you would, and subscribe if you haven't yet, as always. Let's see. Should have traded this prima donna last year when the value was all-time high. Yeah, Bubba, I'm just not down with that. Like, to put it frankly, like, you're just wrong. Like, I don't want to be rude about it, but I know enough people within that organization, and I've talked to enough of them about this situation, and nobody says that. Nobody says he's a prima donna ass. No, nobody says that. Like, that's not a feeling within the organization about Mike Thomas. You know, it's just a thing where he thought his body would heal. You know, after the season, he was in a boot about 4 weeks. When the boot came off, they were supposed to re-examine him. He never went for that examination because he didn't want surgery. He wanted to let it heal. And he showed up for mandatory minicamp and was out there practicing and was still having some pain, though, once he started testing it. And that's whenever they went and were like, examined him and he had surgery. It sucks, bro, but I mean, like, he's a young guy in his 20s, elite athlete, thought he would heal. Thank you, Jesse Brown. Appreciate that. Jonathan Martin, good morning. Nicholas Cantrell, call the show Oak and Smoke. I like it. I was planning on skipping the Florida game for Jazz Fest. Guess not. Oh, are they not having Jazz Fest now? I didn't see it. Did they cancel Jazz? Oh, that would suck. Ah, they canceled Jazz Fest. Ah, sucks. Merrick Mathern, will you have Zach Von Rosenberg every day at 5? Gonna have Zach on every time LSU practices. So he will do our practice reports the way Jordy did our practice reports in the past. So like they practice today and tomorrow, he'll be on with us today and tomorrow at 5. No practice Wednesday, back on the field Thursday, Friday. So like he'll be with us on the days LSU practices. Let's see, Mark Allen, the concealer show. Ro, you ever see the woman letting her concealer bake? Yeah. It's so good. LP, where are the stats? There's a lot of fear going around. You're talking about about COVID and stuff? I mean, look at the hospitalizations. It's at an all-time high in Louisiana. So this is the thing, okay? Listen, if anybody listened to me last year, I am not an alarmist. I think our reaction to COVID last year was worse than COVID itself. All that stuff. Whatever. The biggest problem we have now, and understand, one of my sponsors is the Baton Rouge General Hospital. I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of their admins to know what's going on, and the problem they have right now is twofold. Number one, they don't have enough workers to handle the demand of COVID patients coming in. And number two, they don't have enough ICU beds. So let's say, hypothetically, you have a heart attack. And that's another thing is emergency response time is horrible right now. Instead of minutes, it could be hours before an ambulance could get to you. But if you have a heart attack and they bring you to the emergency room, there's no ICU beds for you. They literally have ICU patients in the hall. That's the big prize. It's not that people are dying in the streets. I mean, it's not some may paint it that way. That's not the problem. The problem is that our medical infrastructure is overwhelmed. That's the biggest problem we have right now. Did you see last week, 70 workers from a federal program showed up at the General to start working there for relief? I mean, that's where they are right now. That's the biggest, that's the biggest problem, Now, like I said, for at-risk kiddos like Drew, we have to be super diligent, but that's on us. It's not on everybody else. You don't have to be rude telling Bubba he's wrong. I will. You're wrong, Bubba. Thank you, Trivia. I appreciate it. All right, where are we? John Truxler, good morning. Craig Dugas, more concerned with the new OC and DC than quarterback play. I think that's fair, Craig. I mean, Max has only started 2 games, but in his 2 opportunities last year, he threw for 400 yards against Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss was basically throwing against air. And he was super poised in his first start on the road against Florida. So, yeah, I think there's some validity to that. Kirk Taylor, what's up, man? Good morning. Paul Batts, what kind of philosophy and schemes will the new DC run? I know 4-3. I fear there's a level of unknown. That's fair. I mean, Paul, listen, Durante Jones hasn't been a DC since 2009 at the Division II level. So it's been a long time. Now, most recently he was in Minnesota, and Mike Zimmer thrives on pressure up front and elite secondary play with big physical defensive backs. Kind of sounds a lot like this defense, right? What you'd want from Ed Orgeron. Charlie, personally, I've always felt Max Johnson was better suited for this offense. His ability to run the ball and zone reads keeps defenses honest. Also, he's a football gym rat. Everything I've read and heard, plus you can't put value on tutelage he gets from his father. There's, Charlie, there's part of that, but then the flip side of it is look at a guy like Bo Nix, right? I mean, his dad played quarterback and is a coach, and he really has developed at this level. So there's pros and cons to that, to the to the dad thing. But LSU's clearly leaned into that, right? I mean, with Johnson and Nussmeier and Howard, I mean, they've leaned into that. So that's definitely fair. I like that. I agree with you that I do like that. But that isn't always a slam dunk. The zone read thing is going to be interesting because I don't know. Like, all right, let's look up. I'm gonna look up Max Johnson's rushing stats last year. Because while Max is athletic, like, and I don't just mean like he can run. I mean like he's really a very good athlete. Okay, here we go. Let me finish that thought. I was gonna say I just didn't remember him like running a ton. But let's see. But sure enough, man. Okay, so against Florida, let's see. So he was back up for, well, let's see, Auburn. He went in for Finley, 7 carries for 5 yards. A&M 8 carries for -4. Bama 5 carries for 2. But then look, the 2 games he started, he ran the ball 18 times against Florida for 52 yards along with 14, and then 14 times for 45 yards against Ole Miss along with 12. So his average was 2.9 yards against Florida and 3.2 yards against Ole Miss. Now that's not great. We got to remember sack yardage factors in, and I don't see. Let's see, he was sacked twice against Florida and once against Ole Miss. So that would certainly hurt the average. But God, they got sacked 3 times against A&M. A&M's gonna be tough, y'all. Just say, let me rephrase. A&M's defensive line is gonna be tough. So I'm with you on it. I mean, I know that's an element that they want in the offense. How much, though, I think will be interesting. Brendan Kluge, Matt, we haven't been able to do heart surgery in 3 weeks at Baton Rouge General. There you go. How about that? So that's kind of the point, right? It's not that like there are bodies laying in the street due to COVID. It's that COVID patients have overwhelmed the medical infrastructure and, like Brennan just said, haven't done heart surgery at the General in 3 weeks. Like, that's a problem. Matt, is Drew ready to crush the new school year? He's excited, Brian. He really is. Like, I mean, you know, school's a different experience for Drew, but he's very excited to go and see his people, and that's really rewarding. Like that he does like to go. Trail Hatch, do you think there's any truth to Aaron Rodgers rumors with the Saints? Shoot, man, after this year, the one thing I'm certain of is Aaron Rodgers won't be in Green Bay, and why not New Orleans with Sean Payton? Corey Davis, good morning. Sheep Army. Should we have traded Michael Thomas when Drew left? No. I'm going to dig my heels in on that one. I'm not saying the Saints won't, but especially with a new quarterback, I want that security blanket. I just wish he was healthy. That was the most tactful and gentle call out I've heard from Matt. I feel special. I forgot what we were talking about, Bubba. Oh, Thomas, yeah. A concern with the O-line and running back? Should be. Colton Mack, morning Matt, on a scale of 1 to 10, how toxic is the OTB YouTube chat? Colton, I really don't know because, honest to goodness, I don't open the chat anymore. Well, the reason I don't is for that exact reason. So, let's see. Pat Houston, I know one thing that I'm a little disappointed in with Coach Jones is lack of flashing all of his corn mash collection on IG. Durante Jones is a very big bourbon guy, by the way, for those who don't know. All right. Kenneth Martin, good morning. And you got the 2 T's. Thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate that. All right, y'all. I think we're just about done. Kenneth, you just jumped in and we're about done. So let me get rolling here. Y'all have an awesome day. As always, shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing. We love the opportunity to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. That's hudcoroofing.com. All right, Locked on LSU coming up, AFR at 3. We will see y'all. Have an awesome day. Peace.